Okay, so we have here the chemical examination of our urine sample using our reagent strip method. So, reagent strip here is actually a test strip. It's a plastic strip which embedded here with the different test pads. The test pads would allow here the chemical reactions for determination of the different analytes present in our urine sample. So depending on the test brand, your reagent strip here could be made up of 4 parameters. The 4 parameters includes here the test for your protein, test for your glucose, test for your specific gravity, and test for your pH. But there's also a reagent test strip here wherein it would allow it testing here for 10 parameters. So aside from the 4, could also include here the test for your blood, the test for the bilirubin, the test for the urobilinogen, the test for the leukocyte esterase, ketone bodies, and we have also here your nitrite. That gives you a 10 parameters. So reagent test strip here would provide us with a semi-quantitative level or concentration of the different analytes. So we tend to report the result here is either negative, trace. So the trace here would have the result of positive or negative. You could also have here 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus, or 4 plus. But there are other parameters wherein that would um, provides actually some semi-quantitative concentration like 20 mg per dl, 40 mg per dl, 50 mg per dl. But then again, they are still reported here as ganito pa din, negative trace, 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus, or 4 plus. Okay, we have here the quality control, okay, for including also the storage and handling of the reagent strips. So number one, quality control here, we need to run here the positive and the negative control. The positive and the negative control solution here should be purchased from the manufacturer. So pag positive control, mean to say if you try to dip that one, your agent strip on that, it will give all positive reaction with your test strips. Pag negative control naman, so that will give eventually a negative result. Distilled water is not used here as our negative control, although your distilled water will really give also a negative results because wala naman naka-dissolve na solute sa distilled water natin. But distilled water is not a correct na negative control solution because your reagent test pads, they are manufactured to react in the ionic solution found in our urine sample and not on your distilled water. Although again, distilled water itself can give here a negative result, but it's not a correct na negative control solution. When are you going to run here the positive and negative control? So it's being run here before doing the testing of your sample, and it's being required here that you run once every day or once every 24 hours. Or if your laboratory can afford, then you could run that one every shift. Like every 8 hours of duty, then you could perform that testing for the positive negative control before you can proceed with testing of your sample. Then again, before you can proceed with the testing of your sample, you should have here, you have attained the appropriate or the required result for your positive and negative control. So like dapat pag positive control, dapat lahat ng test pads positive ang reaction. Pag negative control, it will give you a negative reaction. Pag hindi ganun na magiging expected na result mo as what is expected na result, then you need to change the vial here of your reagent strips. Maybe there's something wrong with that kung bakit hindi nagkaroon siya ng expected reaction. Then you need to purchase a new reagent strip for that. The second one, you need to store that one in a cool, dry place and do not put that one that would have here direct exposure to your sunlight because it might result here to the deterioration of your test pads. Another one, immediately after you try to get one strip here while you are testing for that for your sample, you need to cover the bottle here or the vial of your agent strip immediately to prevent here the introduction of the moisture. So once moisture is being introduced, it might result to the discoloration of your test pads and that would result already here with the interference with the interpretation of your results. Because this result here is based on a color reaction. So, pag may discoloration niya, bago pa lang nagamit ang test pad natin, so it might, of course, that would have hindered here your proper interpretation of your reactions that occur here upon contact with your sample. So, that's why we should not use our agent strip na may discoloration na ng test pads natin. Another one, do not remove here the desiccant. So each of the vials being incorporated with the desiccant. Desiccant here absorb the moisture. And number 5, any visible scleration, so you're not allowed to use that one. And of course here, do not use also expired agent test strip. It will give a false result for for your testing process. Then we have your specimen collection preparation. So when you're doing here your routine testing for your urine for the chemical examination, using our reagent strip here, so ideal sample for that would be the first morning urine. The first morning urine, because this one is concentrated, that will gives you here an accurate concentration of your analytes. So random specimen is more of the diluted na specimen, so it might underestimate the true concentration of each of your analytes. Okay, and then you need to collect here adequate volume that would allows your entire reagent strip here para ma-deep natin at lahat ay magka-come in contact with our urine sample. Kasi pag kulang, like for example, dito mga strip mo sa taas, pag kulang ito, pag na-deep natin, hindi magkakaroon, hindi ito mawi-wet or ma-moisten ng urine sample natin. So, paano ang interpretation mo dito sa taas? And therefore, it would allow here that the patients should eventually submit a required volume appropriate here for the allowing the entire strip here to be immersed in your urine sample. Second one, collect also here. Okay, another one, the patient here should be required to submit the specimen within 2 hours of collection process to prevent here bacterial multiplication, because if the urine sample has not been or the urine sample has stood here for several hours, and then it would result to bacterial multiplication, it might result here to some false interactions or reactions with your agent aspects. The third one, do not add preservative because it would have here some interference with their actions. And then if the specimen has been refrigerated, then you need to return that one to room temperature prior to testing process, because your reagent test pads are made up of chemical reagents, enzyme system, that of course that enzymes try to work best at room temperature. That's why you are required that the sample here be returned to the room temperature prior to testing process. Okay, we have here the procedure for your reagent test strip method here for the chemical examination. So we just assume here that you have your test tube here. So we have the urine sample here, 3/4 volume. Okay, so first one, before you try to determine here the chemical reaction of your urine sample, you need to mix your specimen that would allow the entire sediments at the bottom of the tube here or the bottom of the container to be mixed up with the entire urine sample in order for you to have your accurate determination of the actual concentration of your urine sample. Then next here, we just need to dip here your agent strip. It should be shortly, as fast as 2 seconds, and completely. Pag sinabing completely, it would allow here the entire reagent test pads to come in contact with the urine or moistened by our urine sample. Up to the pinaka last na reagent test pads here, dapat you were able to come in contact with the urine sample. Then after that one, you try to take out the strip here, try to blot here the edge or the tip of this one to remove your excess na urine. You could also here remove the excess na urine with your tissue paper. So kung ito ang test pads natin, dito ang mga test pads natin. Ang other side kasi niya ng test pads natin, walang mga reagent strip. Dito lang siya sa side na to. Then excess urine here on this side, sa baba niya, the negative side, you can remove that one by blotting that one with your tissue paper. Okay, then after that one, try to wait for the specified reading time. So each of your test pads would have their own reading time that's being indicated in your chart ng manufacturer. So just refer to that. Approximately, pinaka-longest reading time is your leukocyte esterase, 2 minutes. I mean to say, you need to read the result here not more than 2 minutes. Okay, do not read the result beyond the recommended reading time kasi pag medyo matagal, upon exposure to the air, nag-darken ang color ng ating mga reagent strip reactions or it might have also deterioration of that. So, iba ng interpretation natin. Okay, for the result here, when you're reading the result, you should have here your manufacturer chart. Okay, then dapat ay may reagent strip here. You try to read that one in horizontal pag ganito. Hindi pwedeng pag ganyan. Okay, so why pag vertical kasi ang positioning ng ating, so ito ang ating chart na manufacturer. Ang strip natin pag ganito, pagbasa natin, na mangyayari? Your pinakamataas na test pad, mga previous na test pad, pupunta dito sa next. Paghahalo siya, that you call it was run over, and it might result here to the interference in the reactions. Kaya dapat pag nag-read tayo, ganito lang, pababa. Horizontal position, para hindi mag-run over ang urine mo from the previous na test pads to the next test pads. And trying here to eventually influencing the color reaction of your next test pad. Okay, for the interpretation, just need to refer lang sa ating manufacturer chart. Okay, kung anong pinakamalapit na color reaction with what's in your sample. And that's how you're going to report. Report that one as negative traits, 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus, or 4 plus. Pag yung result natin ay negative, you need to write the word negative. Do not just have here the negative sign or minus sign, but rather you need to write the negative na results. Okay, so that's it for this chemical examination using our reagent strip here for our urine sample testing. Thank you.